What if the biggest financial threat isn't a market crash, but the slow collapse of money itself? History has seen it before, and it always follows the same pattern. In the 3rd century, Rome started mixing cheaper metals into its silver coins. The denarius, the standard coin soldiers were paid in, merchants traded in, and families saved in. It went from nearly pure silver to less than 5%. It happened gradually. Year by year, the coins got lighter, the silver content lower. Soldiers noticed. Merchants noticed. Prices exploded. The empire that ruled the known world was brought to its knees, not by invasion, but by debasing its own money. And the people who held real gold and real silver outside the system, they were the last ones standing. That was 1700 years ago. The pattern hasn't changed. 4,000 years ago, a king stored his wealth in gold. His blacksmith stored his in silver. When the kingdom fell, both survived. The merchants who held only the king's promises lost everything. Gold and silver have outlasted every empire, every currency, and every financial system humans have ever built. But they're not the same. They don't behave the same way in a crisis. One is more stable, the other is more useful. And most people pick the wrong one for their situation. This is gold versus silver across 5 real crises, not theory, not predictions. What actually happened with real prices, real people, and real outcomes. I'm going to judge each metal on 3 things. Can it preserve your purchasing power? Can you actually spend it when you need to? And does it become a target for governments, for regulation or confiscation? Preserve, spend, rules. Those are the 3 keys. Gold and silver are not the same asset. At different price points, they play different roles. Gold is a pure monetary metal. Central banks hold it. Sovereign wealth funds hold it. Its industrial use is minimal. When you buy gold, you're making one bet that humans will continue treating this metal as a store of value. That bet has been correct for 5,000 years. Gold has one driver: fear. When fear goes up, gold goes up. Simple. Silver has a dual nature. About half of all demand is industrial: solar panels, electronics, medical instruments, batteries. The other half is monetary: coins, bars, investment. This split is what makes silver unpredictable. In a recession, industrial demand drops and drags silver's price down. At the exact same time, monetary panic pushes demand up. 2 forces pulling in opposite directions. Which one wins depends on the type of crisis. Think of it this way: gold saves the big ticket, silver runs the weekly budget. Both matter, but at different moments. Let's see when. Crisis 1, Weimar Germany, 1920 to 1923. This one is about spending. At the peak of hyperinflation, 1 ounce of gold could buy a house in central Berlin. The mark was worthless. People burned banknotes for heat because the paper was worth more as fuel than as money. Anyone who had converted their savings to gold came through with their wealth intact. But here's what nobody mentions. Most regular Germans didn't have gold. They couldn't afford it. What they had was silver coins, pre-war silver marks. And those coins held real value throughout the crisis, not because of the number stamped on them, but because of the metal inside. A silver coin could cover several days of food. You could walk into a shop and trade it directly. Try doing that with a gold bar. Nobody has change for a gold bar. When the currency has collapsed, you can't buy milk with something worth a house. Gold preserved fortunes. Silver bought groceries. Crisis 2, the Great Depression, 1933. This one is about rules. In April 1933, President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102. Private ownership of gold was effectively banned in the United States. Citizens were required to turn in their gold coins, bullion, and certificates. The penalty for non-compliance, up to 10 years in prison. Silver, not touched. Silver coins continued to circulate freely. They were too embedded in daily commerce to confiscate. Gold owners were forced to sell at $20.67 an ounce, and then watched as gold was revalued to $35, effectively taking around 40% of their purchasing power. Silver holders just kept using their money. The pattern is consistent. Concentrated value becomes a target when governments need control. Gold fits that profile. Silver flies under the radar. Gold preserved wealth better on paper. Silver preserved freedom of transaction. Crisis 3, the 1970s stagflation. This one is about asymmetry. In 1971, Nixon took the dollar off gold. Over the next decade, both metals exploded. Gold went from $35 to $850, about 24x. Silver went from $30 to $50, about 38x. But then came the crash. Silver fell 90%. Gold fell about 50%. Here's the rule. Gold is insurance. Silver is leverage. Silver climbs faster and falls harder. Crisis 4, 2008, the global financial crisis. When Lehman collapsed, gold dipped briefly, then climbed. By 2009, it was up about 25%. Silver crashed from 20 to below $9. Why? Factories shut down. Industrial demand disappeared. That drag overpowered monetary demand, at least initially. Later, silver recovered to nearly $50 by 2011. But you had to buy when it was collapsing. Most people don't. Lesson: gold goes up when you need it. Silver goes down first, then up later. Crisis 5, 2020, the pandemic. Same pattern, just faster. Gold hit an all-time high above $2,000. Smooth, steady. Silver dropped to 12, then surged 140% in 5 months. If you held gold, you slept well. If you timed silver right, you made a fortune. But if you bought silver before the crash, you were down over 50% during the crisis. That's the difference. Gold is the asset you hold and forget. Silver is the asset you manage. There's one number that ties this all together, the gold to silver ratio. It tells you how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold. Historically, it sat around 15 to 1. Today, it fluctuates between 50 and 90 and even crossed 100 during the 2020 panic. When the ratio is high, silver is cheap relative to gold. And when it compresses, silver outperforms, often dramatically. That's not a prediction. It's arithmetic. So which one should you hold? If you're protecting large, long-term wealth, retirement, generational savings, gold. It's denser, easier to store, more stable. If you want something you can actually use in a crisis, trade, buy essentials, transact, silver. A 1 ounce silver coin is practical. A gold coin is not. In mild downturns, gold is better. In severe crises, both matter, but silver becomes essential for daily life. And here's the honest truth. If you cannot tolerate a 50% drawdown during the crisis itself, silver cannot be your hedge. The right answer for most people isn't gold or silver. It's both. Your wealth in gold, your liquidity in silver. Gold is the vault key. Silver is the cash register. You need both in the building. This isn't about being a precious metals fanatic. It's about understanding that these two assets have done the same job for 5,000 years, but in different ways. Gold is the anchor. Silver is the lifeboat. The king held gold. The blacksmith held silver. When the kingdom fell, both walked away. The people holding paper promises did not. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe for more deep, real-world financial insights based on history, not hype.